Hello, everybody. This is Carol Maletta. Welcome to the Parenting 411 podcast, where we share information parents need from sources they can trust. Today, we're honored to have a guest whose life journey and dedication have touched and transformed countless lives. Tara Lynn Townes is not just an acclaimed bullying prevention expert, but she's also a published author, app inventor, developmental therapist, and certified life coach with over 2 decades of experience working with women, children, and families. A recipient of recognitions from the California State Senate and Congress, Tara Lynn's mission became even more personal when her son, Encore, was diagnosed with achondroplasia or dwarfism. Inspired by her son's strength and her own dedication to make a positive change, she founded Tiny Be Mighty, nonprofit organization that's geared towards assisting families affected by bullying, and also introduced innovative solutions like the Bullying Buddy app. Her belief is simple yet profound that our best life is what we create. Today, we're going to learn about her journey, her insights, and the significant work she's doing in the realm of bullying prevention. So please join me in welcoming Tara Lynn Townes. Hello, Tara.
Hello, Carol. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing great.
Good, good. So thank you for coming on to the Parenting 411 podcast to talk about this very important issue. But I'd love to start by having you share what inspired you to become a certified bullying prevention expert and why this cause is so close to your heart. If you could elaborate a little bit.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here. I love to share the message. But I began this journey because my son Corey, I call him my daily dose of inspiration. I get to live next to my inspiration. But he was born, like you said, with achondroplasia. And as a result of that, he was bullied tremendously. I used to say to the point of no return because that's what it felt like. But,
Mm.
he turned his pain into power and he uses it through music. Also, another thing that inspired me was during that journey of just being a mom dealing with this myself.
Mhm.
I ran across other moms who unfortunately had lost children
Mm.
because they were bullied. And so these
Mm.
children did commit suicide ages 7 to 17. And then something inside of me just said, listen, I can't just hear about this anymore. And I definitely am not going to talk about it. We're going to be about it and do something. And so
Mhm.
this began the birth. It's been a long process, but it began the birth of all of these things that you mentioned.
Mhm. Mhm. And your bullying buddy app is really innovative. I was so glad to hear about it. Explain how it works, and
Yes.
yeah, talk about that.
Okay. So the Bullying Buddy app, which is in Android, both Android and Apple, it's
Mm-hmm.
everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It is a cutting edge anti-bullying and safety app. Because obviously, it can be used if your child is missing, if someone tries to abduct your child, anything like that. That's why we call it a safety app. This app, it records in real time, and
Mm-hmm.
as it's recording, you get an alert immediately once your child is going through a violation. So let's just say you're at work, you're at home, you're not near your child. You will get an alert, and then immediately you will see the video of what's happening to your child. So in a second, I mean, it's so quick that you get the alert. Not only do you get the alert, the school gets the alert. So a lot of the bullying that takes place is because the supervision is not really where it needs to be. So we're in the
Mm-hmm.
hallways, we're in the bathrooms, we're near the lockers, the kids kind of crowd around, and this is where it takes place. So this will stop that. It also assists with cyberbullying, which is,
Mm-hmm.
it's the lead because we have about 95 to 97% of our youth online. And so
Mm-hmm.
obviously cyberbullying has skyrocketed, especially following the pandemic and during the pandemic. So inside of the app, you have Snapchat, you have Instagram, you have Facebook, you have all of the social media platforms. And if your child is being bullied on these platforms, they are able to go right to the app and they are able to go to the reporting centers of all of these social media platforms, and you can report what's happening. What I found is that from the mothers who had the children who are no longer with us, they said that the Facebook and different Instagram, they took too long to take down what was going on. Obviously, there's millions of people using the app. So this is going to help those platforms do it immediately. Everything is in zero time on this app. It tracks up to 10 minutes, but sometimes it can go a little longer, and there's no distance. So if your child, if something is happening, 3,000 miles away and they're not with you, maybe they're on vacation with your family or what have you still can see what's going on with your child. So there's so many things. I'm big on education. I'm a trainer and an educator. And so within the app, it breaks down the 7 types of bullying, the characters in bullying. We just want to associate a bully to a target. I don't like to use the word victim.
Right.
And so, but it's such a big, it's in my new book. There's such a world that we really, really need to adhere to. We're not addressing it properly because we're just focused on the way that we used to do things. So
Right.
these are some of the features. I also have the adult version. So it's not just for kids. This is for corporate bullying, domestic violence, elder abuse, any type of violation you can think of, this app will ward against it. And it's voice activated. And so if an active shooter comes into the school, this is really the big part about it. It's very incognito. Like, we have people calling people when there's active shooting. There's the police outside, there's the shooter in the classroom.
So something I did want to ask though, and that's kind of the voice activation is part of it. So then if your child's phone is in his pocket or something, if a child's phone is in the pocket, and there's a bullying situation that's brewing, the child doesn't have to take it out of his pocket and find the app and start recording?
No, actually, all they say is no, all they say is emergency or EBB. It's the emergency bullying button. It's the biggest feature. When you open up the app, there's a big red button. So
Okay.
all they have to do is just say emergency, and it voice activates. Also,
So, okay, so even if the app, like I say, if they're walking down the hall, the phone's in their pocket and it's not out, the app isn't open. If they say emergency, it's gonna start?
yes, and it will pick up audio, obviously, because it's in the
Or
pocket, but
sure.
it will definitely pick up audio.
Wow, this
Yeah,
is like game changing. And
thank you.
we're mostly focusing on children today, but the idea that you have it for adults as well. And I'm going to be talking about this in part 2 of this series that I'm doing on bullying this month, where I am talking about workplace bullying with another consultant. I mean, as a matter of fact, I plan to put you all together if you don't know each other already, because I think you all could really collaborate on some things, because that's one reason why one of many reasons why we need to nip childhood bullying in the bud. First of all, it's not right. It torments other people, and for all of those things, but also you don't just turn 21 and say, oh, I don't want
Right.
to be a bully anymore. You
Correct.
just continue, and you probably have, I mean, if you've been unchecked, you've
Right.
really honed your skills. I mean, and then you're really able to now do some of the emotional and
Yes.
psychological tricks,
Right.
by then,
Oh, yes.
if nobody has really turned you around. So it's so important, and it's not child's play. It's not just a
No,
rite of passage. It really needs to be taken care of. So I'm so glad. This is amazing, and this is
thank
really
you.
amazing.
I
I've got to
appreciate
tell.
it.
Yeah, I might have to do a live or something about this and really talk about this and
Thank
tell people to get
you.
this app.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, so have worked with women, children, and families over 20 years, and so I'm wondering, what patterns or trends have you noticed in bullying and how society responds to it?
I think one thing that is major is that bullying was geared towards boys, right? Because it's
Mm,
some robust, you got to be strong, you're a man, it's aggression. What I'm seeing now is that even though the statistics, prove that to be true in some cases, there's 7 different types of bullying once again, so that's physical bullying. Girls are really, really taking the throne with bullying. So what I'm seeing is that we're addressing it as such, you know, saying that it's just a masculine thing, or it's just the behavior is aggressive. What I'm seeing is girls are just as aggressive. So how we treat that is we're focusing on that, right? And then we're writing it off as boys being boys and girls being girls, but not when we're losing children. So the trend that I'm seeing seriously is that it's not that we're not taking this serious enough. It's just that we don't have all of the facts behind it. And this is
mhm,
what really pushed me into, going to get the certification to
mhm,
become a bullying expert, because there's so much data and different things that I've discovered along the way of 8 years now. Um,
mhm,
I am seeing that trend. And I'm also seeing the trend in parents. This is why my new book is called Are You Raising a Bully?
mm,
Not addressing these things. It's truly my belief, and I'm a part of a study that um, Dr. Sky from Clemson is going to help me do. But it's to really uncover that this begins in the pre-operational stage of development, and that's
mm,
3 to 7, maybe 8. And we're addressing it in middle school because that's where the behavior is what society thinks another pattern shows up. No, it's ingrained in that pre-operational stage, and it just presents in middle school in that age group, because developmentally that's where we're gaining our sense of our own little society, our friends, who we're going to be, how we're going to show up. So if we
mhm,
catch it in that early stage, this is why this book is crucial, and the signs, and not
mhm,
write it off as sibling rivalry, or he's just mad at the cat, or aggression is aggression. I'm a
mhm,
therapist, and it's true, and it
mhm,
starts way early, not late. It just
mhm,
kind of grows into what it's going to be later on. There's
right.
even a chapter, little bullies become big bullies. It's
Mhm,
one of my favorite chapters in the book, because it's what you just described about adults. A child who wasn't checked in bullying, definitely not all the time, but most of the time, will become an adult in some way, shape, or form that will violate. It's just a part of their MO, it's a part of their makeup. That is the pattern that they've attached to. So these are just some of the trends that I would love to redirect, because it's not just boys, it's everyone, every
mhm,
type of child, um,
mhm,
from every demographic background. That's another thing. Oh, it's an inner city thing. I have an interesting study to prove that it's not an inner city thing. In fact, the rates are lower in the inner city. And you want to
mhm,
know why? Because it's already the way of life there, right? So
mhm, mhm,
children know how to protect themselves. They're more
mm,
resilient than,
mhm,
because that's just what they have to be, and how they have to proceed.
mhm,
Children
mhm,
who really don't have those coping skills are the ones that become the targets. They're the ones that become the encourager of the bully.
mhm.
Like, go get him, go get him, go do it, because they're just fearful of the bully.
And then, another thing that and I know this is something that's probably in your book and also the work that you're doing, but sometimes those who are bullied, um, and when they're younger, turn around and become bullies.
Yes.
Like nobody's ever going to hold me down like that again. So especially when they maybe hit a transition moment where they move to middle school or they move to a new area and they can kind of be somebody else
Yes.
because the people that saw them be bullied or
Correct.
minimized, aren't around. So they can
Correct.
kind of create this whole new narrative. And so that's why it's so important. I mean, to deal with everybody involved. And like you mentioned, 7 people and 7 types of bullies, but they're also players in the
Yes.
situation because you've got the bystanders
Yes.
and you've got the helpers, you've got
Yes.
a lot of other people. So that's why schools and communities really need to deal with it, and it's focus on the bully, but also take care of everybody else around there too.
Yes, Carol, that is so important.
We'll be right back after this. If you're looking to reach a massive audience of parents and caregivers, then look no further than ProPix by the Parenting 411, the ultimate marketing program designed to skyrocket your brand to new heights. With ProPix, we've created 3 incredible packages to suit your marketing needs and budget. So let's take a look. First up is our social starter package. You'll receive a stunning graphic promo piece, plus we'll also feature your brand on the Parenting 411 Instagram page. It's the perfect way to make a memorable first impression and get parents buzzing about your business. Now, if you're ready to level up, our Parenting Pro package is where it's at. You'll enjoy all the benefits of the social starter package, plus more awesome benefits, including exposure on the Parenting 411 podcast, which reaches parents in more than 22 countries each week. But wait, there's more. For those seeking the pinnacle of marketing power, our Elite Exposure package is the way to go. You'll get even more exposure across our platform, including thousands of followers and connections on LinkedIn. Get ready to dominate the airwaves and establish yourself as the go-to resource for families everywhere. Take advantage of ProPix by the Parenting 411 today and unlock unparalleled marketing opportunities for your business. But I should tell you that prices are set to increase on November 1st, so act now. ProPix by the Parenting 411 is your passport to the hearts and minds of parents. Visit ProPixbyP411.com. Join us today and watch the magic happen. And we're back with the Parenting 411.
I always say this, I do a lot of workshops and trainings with students, parents nationwide. And one thing, my work is experiential. We do a lot of exercises, a lot of role playing. It's really, really exciting, but it's very educational. And one thing I'm finding is that we do just focus on certain things, which is primarily the bully, which who needs healing, everyone. I'm just saying this too, without bully
Absolutely.
bashing either. I mean, I even do, a bully reform program. I have a little academy that I do with students. But
Oh, that's nice.
what I truly feel is that those people, when I show the kiddos, when we do a whole little breakout session and we do this role playing, there's more of them than there are of the bully, right? But we give the bully so much power because he wears the title. He's the ringleader, or he's the initiator. I call it a transaction, a transfer of negative action. And
Sure.
so we focus on him. When quite frankly, if you remove a target, there is no bully, right? So how about empower the target? I call it the watcher, the bystanders, or the upstander, or the promoter. I have kiddos say, Miss Tara, I didn't bully, but I was just like, go get him, go get him. I just held the backpack. Well, you're a promoter if you're saying, go get him, go get him. And if you
Yes.
held the backpack, but you didn't touch the child, you're also bullying. You're
Right.
just taking a different form, but you do have a name. And this is very, very important for people. Even in this book, I'm going to keep referencing it because it is a
Sure.
guide. It's a tool and a guide. It breaks down everything, like psychologically, behind the bully, the watcher, the target. I even have parents say, how am I raising a target? Like, what does a target look like? They have a certain look in that pre-operational stage of development. And instead of thinking it's funny and putting it on YouTube that, they're putting the cat in the toilet and different showing signs of aggression, there are definitely children explore. But when it's intentional hurt, that is aggression. Okay. And that can be redirected early instead of laughing and thinking it's funny and going viral, right? We need to address that behavior and bring in those empathy. That's a lack of empathy in general of why we have this issue. But there's an opportunity to introduce your children to empathy right there.
Yes.
But
Yes.
instead we make it a joke and we put it online, and a poor cat, dog, whatever. I reference animals because in this age group, children really do, if they're even modeling a behavior, it will be on their pets, their siblings. Bullying, people model this. It's a behavioral pattern. It's
Mm-hmm.
modeled, just like you stated that bullies who are bullied, children who are bullied targets sometimes become bullies. And I'm very transparent. My son went through a phase of that. When
Mm,
he
okay.
gained his popularity, that was his
Mm-hmm.
power. He was made to feel less than. We all want to feel more than. Some of us okay with humility in the middle where we're okay. But kids, they want to be accepted. I've been all over every type of demographic, every type of culture. They want to be validated, they want to be accepted. So
Mm-hmm.
they're going to do whatever it takes to get that done, negative or
A
positive.
positive, yes.
Yeah.
So, and so you mentioned your son. Can you share some of the challenges and triumphs that you all have faced together, especially in the context of bullying? And I know that he plays a special role in the work that you're doing today. So I would love for listeners to hear about that.
Yes. The challenges in the beginning were I really didn't know what this monster was. The
Mm-hmm.
bullying, I mean,
Right,
not
right,
the bully.
right.
And I didn't know what it could really do to children. And ironically, I'm going through my master's program in psychology, and I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, or and I'm already in the developmental area with kids, and I'm just like, what is going on with my own son? And I do this, oh my God. So I was humbled. Number one, that
Mm-hmm.
was a challenge to just be so versed in this, have degrees in it, deal with kids for 20 years, and your own child. It's difficult for you to even not fix them. I don't use the word fix, but assist them.
Right.
And he shut down. He shut
Mm-hmm.
down and went into a deep depression. So
Mm-hmm.
here, yes, as early as 7 years old,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then
Mm-hmm.
and then we went through all of these different things with him,
Mm-hmm.
wanting to play basketball or wanting to be a football player or wanting to, record music or not wanting to even be around people, but then wanting to be around just all of these different emotions. He was all over the place very early.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, we're getting this in middle school. He's doing this like in second and third grade. And why? It's because people questioned his validation. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel like he was accepted because he was different.
Right.
So that was a big challenge for us. Another challenge, just in general, was him getting angry. I
Mm-hmm.
will be honest, at the mission. I don't want to do this. I say, you never have to. You told me at 6 you wanted to do this. You
Mm-hmm.
wanted to speak to your class. You wanted to speak all over. You told me that, mommy never. He's like, I know, but I don't want to do that anymore. And I'm like, hey, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But then he went back to it because that's where he gets his stuff out. We all find a place,
Mm-hmm.
that brings us our peace and our
Mm-hmm.
happiness, and
Mm-hmm.
just getting the word out with him helps. And then just in general, just watching people not
Mm-hmm.
be used to what fits out. That's the biggest thing I love to tell parents. Please get your children accustomed to what fits out versus what fits in. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you don't show them, train them, guide them on what's different about
Different.
other people, diversity, then they're going to be shocked. And when you're shocked, fear comes in. And when fear comes in and it's not addressed, it can present anxiety, depression, aggression. You're going to attack the very thing you don't understand because you just don't understand it.
And
So
that's the
important.
problem. That's the problem in a lot of ways right now with what's going on in our country,
Oh, yes,
bullying even aside, it's fear, ignorance, and lack of curiosity.
it is.
And it's very costly. And I agree that we should teach our children to be comfortable with differences, because as a matter of fact, our silence on the issue conveys to them that there is something wrong with difference, because you don't even want to talk about it, mom or dad, right?
Absolutely. You don't
Yeah.
want to address the elephant in the room. In the book, I reference how to show your children this very, very early. Like, in fact, when a child says, I used to own a preschool, and when someone different walks by, like, let's just say I put in the book someone with blue hair.
Mm-hmm.
If you, the parent, make such a big deal about it, right? The child is definitely going to look at blue hair. That's not really common, right? So they're going
Right.
to say, wow, that person has blue hair. If you laugh or you say, I don't know, that person's weird. Parents, this is not parent bashing, because I train and teach parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm an advocate. but we have to also know that we are raising these children. So we have them most of the time, teachers also, people, a caretaker, anyone that is involved with a child, but we really have them at home with us. So we can't kind of be surprised if we're raising any one of the people
Mm-hmm.
in the scenario. But I
Mm-hmm.
say this to just leave it natural, right? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that person is so creative. I'm just to redirect a shock or wow, what is that, mom? If you make the big deal about it, it's going to instill the fear in the child. And now every time they see someone with blue hair, green hair, it's either going to be a laugh, because that's fear too, and people laugh off diversity,
Mm-hmm.
or it's going to be, what in the world do I do? A panic. And out
Right.
of a panic, many things can birth, such as
Yes.
attacking.
Sure, sure. And you talked earlier about suicide and, just the connection between bullying and suicide. Can you share some signs parents and teachers should look out for, especially if they suspect a child might be a victim of bullying?
Yes, and I'm going to plead here because I work with parents once again who have lost children in my nonprofit, Tiny Be Mighty, ages 7 to 17. And it
Mm-hmm.
is, I don't even know. I just say that spiritually, this is what I was meant to do. And my son introduced me to my calling and purpose, but it's not easy sitting with a parent who just went through this, because I am a parent. So
Sure.
some of the signs that the parents obviously talk about, we know the traditional signs where a child will, just kind of not want to be involved anymore. They retreat. They just kind of want to come home, go to sleep. Their favorite things don't matter anymore. Oh, do you want your favorite foods? Or, oh, do you want to go here? Do you want to go shopping? Or anytime a kid doesn't want to shop or want a game, there's something going on with the child. Doesn't mean that they're suicidal, but you need to take a deeper look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And younger children, dark pictures of like
Mm-hmm.
monsters and just different things that they try to show you. Like I said, I've worked with quite a few families that have had 7-year-olds commit suicide, right? We can't
Mm-hmm.
even fathom the thought. But
Right.
weeks leading up, they were saying, I'm having nightmares, or here's the picture, and it's always someone, not always, but most of the time, it's something in the picture that is chasing them, following them. If you almost can relate what a bully does, it
Mm-hmm.
go to school and you're just tormented. They just
Mm-hmm.
torment you every day. So
Mm-hmm.
that is someone that's after you, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not once again, not wanting to do their favorite things. Even what I'm seeing, the number one thing is a sleep deprivation, right? A
Okay.
disruption. I'm a certified sleep trainer.
Mm.
We all need our REM sleep. When
Yes.
children are supposed to sleep 8 to 10 hours anyway, sometimes 12 if they're younger. But if you see them up in the middle of the night, or you see them just tired in the day because they're worrying all night, if their sleep is off, and then they're kind of down and sad, and then I list everything in the book, and then they are having issues where they want to give away things, or they're not really engaged anymore, please talk to your child. Please,
Mm-hmm.
intervene immediately and have those conversations. I went through this, not even with all of this research and all, put that out the window. Mom, my son, we're on this quest and he now doesn't want to live. This is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I panicked. I
Sure.
almost took the door off. I wouldn't put belts in his room. And he's like, Mom, like he got to the point where I just had a thought, my goodness. And I'm like, I don't care, I'm on this thought.
Right,
Because
right,
I
right.
talked to parents who didn't address the thought and it turned into the act. So
Right.
thank the Lord, a lot of, prayer and work and talking. We got him through it, but it's scary and we don't want
Sure.
to overthink it. We don't want to talk about it all the time. He checked me like, would you stop? I'm not suicidal. I came to you with one thought.
Mm-hmm.
Checked me. Of course, I'm going to be on it. But a lot of parents, their children did say something to them and they missed the cue because they didn't know. They're saying, oh, 7, 8. They don't mean that. Please don't underestimate what a child can feel when they are being bullied.
Yeah.
Don't
Wow.
underestimate that.
What would you say about how schools today are handling this, the prevention? Has there been some improvement? have there been, as a matter of fact, I'm curious if there are any school districts that you've encountered that are just really out there leading edge, like they're right on it. But in general, I'd like to know how you think they're all doing. But then if there are any outliers that are really, really saying no, bullying is not acceptable in our community, because that's what I think the school is supposed to be striving to create, a
Yeah.
community and an interconnectedness among the students. But
Yeah.
tell us about that.
Well, nationwide, we are, in my opinion, we have a little pandemic that lives within the pandemic that we just got out of.
Mm,
And I say this because, once again, it's not being viewed as something like, oh my God, we have to address this. The protocol that is being done
mm-hmm,
is policies and procedures. Back to school night, they'll give you brochures, or the schools will have talks about it. But what I'm hearing from parents of all different school districts, teachers, and even principals
mm-hmm.
is that it doesn't really stick. So
Oh,
what, and I consult,
mm-hmm,
nationwide. I have a district in New Jersey that I'll be going back, in Bayonne, New Jersey. They are definitely open. Schools have to be open to see shifting and change. But what
mm-hmm,
I'm seeing is there are some schools that definitely have these policies in place. I won't say it's terrible all over the place,
mm-hmm.
but it's the consistency and the retention.
Okay.
The program will begin, and then I hear parents saying, well, then this is occurring, but yet on the website they're promoting this, or they say this. You see, now I'm like a parent magnet, right? So parents
Mm-hmm,
nationwide all the time, emails, everything. Can you help me at this school? Can you help me with this teacher? Can you help me? So the bottom line is that shows me that we do have an issue, obviously.
mm-hmm,
But it also shows me that the, we have the notion that it's not, oh, you cannot erase every bully. This is never going to go away. My father, he's 80. We had bullying in the beginning of time, and we used to punch the person in the nose, and we would all be friends. And I said, Dad, that's like 80 years ago, because today they come back with retaliation,
with
and that means
weapons.
so we don't have that anymore. That did used to work, but remember, values have changed, society has changed, and we're in a new zone with these kids who, some of them feel like they really don't have a tomorrow when they're being bullied. This is their voice and what they say to me. And some of them say, I don't even know what to do because I am bullied. What do I do next? School
Mm-hmm,
says, tell them. And when I tell them, nothing gets done. I won't say nothing gets done with schools, but I
mm-hmm,
will say that it's not enough. I can say that I'm trying to be politically correct, but I'm trying to be real, because it's everywhere.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
it's just these numbers are increasing so much. I mean, the suicide in this age group has like doubled since the pandemic. It's insane. So
So, what would you, if, in your ideal situation, if some school said, listen, Miss Towns, we are open, come in here and tell us what
mhm.
to do, and we're ready to try anything. What are some things, uh, two or three things that you think are absolutely essential and they need to start doing it tomorrow?
The first thing is training, parent training,
Okay.
admin training,
Mm-hmm.
teacher training.
Okay.
Teachers must be, they definitely have to have the knowledge on what to look for, because a lot of teachers don't know what to look for, and they have so many students
Mm-hmm.
that they don't even know where to begin what to look
Mm-hmm.
for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Parents, the same thing. It's like, I don't know if my kid is lying, if their kid is lying, or if they're just horsing around. Listen, someone not wanting to be alive is I think we've exceeded horsing around, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
past. This is what I mean about that mindset. It must change. With the students, get involved, please. Workshops, play games in the classroom. I have a curriculum, be brave. SEL needs to be is just as important as English, math, and as social emotional learning. English, math, science. With the curriculum, you can integrate it in, because I have schools using it. It's very effective. It is an amazing tool. And it doesn't even have to be brave curriculum. It could be any SEL curriculum. You have to open these kids up. These kids are very, very closed today. They really are. And they're relying on their external environments to validate them.
Is
And
SEL, social emotional learning? Is that what that
yes,
stands for? Okay.
yes, yes. And I think once again, social emotional learning is huge because it exposes children to empathy. If there's a
Yes.
lack of empathy, you're going to have anything out there. You're going to have someone, step on someone, throw someone into a trash can, and they won't care because that lack of empathy is there.
Mm-hmm.
Schools need to have a curriculum that the base of the curriculum is empathy based. Not,
Yes.
you don't skirt that, not the outskirts. The inner city needs to have, that, speaking philosophically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the third thing, and let me get back to the kiddos though, because they are the healing, right?
Right.
I have these communication commanders that are on the bus in certain schools that I consult. We do certain things at the school. I'll do a data analysis first of all, and we'll see what area we kind of need to move quickly in. But when you teach children to speak up and speak out with no boundaries, no, just speak up and speak out, get rid of the methodology that the kids say, Miss Tara, snitches get stitches. We want to get rid of all of these terminologies because they're the reason why we are here where we are today, right?
Mm-hmm.
So communication commanders, have children do impact posters all through the school, get them involved. They are their own healing and they don't know it. We're the facilitators, but they're the
Right.
ones in the middle of the midst of the bullying. Train
Mm-hmm.
them, train them
Mm-hmm.
to be big about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, I'm big on holistic everything. And so I do grounding groups and different things with kiddos. We have like grass slippers and just all types of things. I think meditation in a classroom before you start is amazing. I think
Yes.
turning down the lights when it gets too havoc in a classroom is amazing. Teach children how to breathe, little exercises that teachers can do.
Mm-hmm.
Have that education first. You have to know before you present something, you got to know it, breathe it, know how to facilitate it. And then
Mm-hmm.
lastly, policy and procedure makers. Get your policies in order, go through them,
Mm-hmm.
because if they worked, they would work,
Right.
right? Oxymoron, but it's the truth. If they
Mm-hmm.
work, you have them on your website. Why do we have 18 children in your district that are no longer here? Something
Mm-hmm.
is off with the policies and procedures. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm here as an advocate for everyone because
Mm-hmm.
it's a group effort. It's the parents, it's the teachers, it's policy and procedure makers. Get them involved in your schools, in your town, in your district. Who oversees your board of ed? Who's your
Right.
superintendent? Get them involved and have them come in, go through the policies and procedures. Right now, there is not one anti-bullying law put in place, a federal law, and we have all of these children. So this is why, I'm moving the way that I'm moving, but I'm also having great hopes to change that and to rewrite policy regarding an anti-bullying law
Mm-hmm.
nationwide that's mandatory. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We'll be right back after this. Are you a parent looking to unlock your potential in raising confident, capable, and courageous children? Well, look no further. Join us at the upcoming Parent and Purpose Summit Back to School Edition, where parenting experts from around the world will come together to share their wisdom and insights. I'm Carol Maletta, founder of the Parenting 411. This summit is your opportunity to gain essential skills and tools to become the parent you've always aspired to be. Over 5 incredible days, we'll dive deep into topics like positive discipline, effective communication, mental health, self-care, school readiness, and more. An attendee from our last summit told us, "This summit changed my parenting game. I feel more confident and connected with my children than ever before." So secure your seat at the Parent and Purpose Summit today. Visit parentandpurposesummit2023.com. That's parentandpurposesummit2023.com. And click the registration button to join us on this transformative journey. The Parent and Purpose Summit, where intentional parenting begins. And we're back with the Parenting 411. So I know I've read where you talk about the power of the universe and the energy that we put into it. How does that guide your work?
Yes, I truly believe that obviously what we put out is what we get in. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
take it to the Bible, if you want to just take it to life in general, but I have to use this. No, I have to. I've tested it all through my life to see if it works, and it really does. So
Mm-hmm.
the power of intention is amazing. It moves mountains in places that you really would never think that a mountain could be moved.
Mm-hmm.
So I use it in my daily activity. I use it when I wake up in the morning. I see things shift all around me by just the way my mindset, my energy, everything. It could just
Mm-hmm.
shift. I
Mm-hmm.
redirect things quickly in my life because in this line of work, you deal with a lot of, in any line of work, but this one, it's a huge mission. So you have the parents, you have, you do have the policymakers, and they want to help you, and they say, oh, we need the data. And then you have an app, and you have this. My life is definitely very, very busy, and my heart is big, but this mission is bigger. And,
Mm-hmm.
it takes a lot of grounding and self, and just dealing with parents who have lost children. Once again, I don't, that by itself is another show, but it
Mm-hmm.
definitely takes a lot of grounding, and putting out certain energies so that you attract certain energies back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that. And and that's also, another point that you talk about as well, and just living outside yourselves. Like, and that's that empathy piece, just recognizing that uh the actions you take, the words you speak impact other people. I mean, like none of us can just operate as if what we say and what we think is the only thing that matters.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Self-talk is everything. And I constantly
Mm-hmm.
redirect myself, and I train my kiddos and other kids that I work with, because the energy that we put out just in relation to bullying can
Mm-hmm.
attract a bully to you. So if you have a fearful energy off the top, and you're
Mm-hmm.
quiet, or you're just kind of standoffish, you are going
Mm-hmm.
to attract that energy. So it's very important to practice it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And as I had mentioned earlier, your work has been recognized in so many areas. The California State Senate as well as Congress, and I believe you have a congressional citation from Connecticut. I'm sorry.
Yes.
So, what do they mean to you, and how has it energized you on your mission?
It means a lot to me because it is a numbers game in politics,
Hmm.
and I don't want to lose any more children to prove a point, right? One
Right.
child is enough, but unfortunately, in the world we live in, it has to be catastrophic before things are really moved into the proper direction. So it means a lot to me. As far as acclimates, okay, it's fine. It's part of what it is. I'm humble. I live on Humble Hill. But it's important because it does show me that what I'm doing, it really is moving stuff along. So it definitely motivates me, but it's obviously not my driving force. I'm
Sure.
grateful. I'm
Right.
grateful for
Mm-hmm.
the recognition.
Now, I wanted to leave space for you to tell us a little bit more about Tiny Be Mighty and the mission and just your primary objectives there.
So Tiny Be Mighty is our nonprofit 501(c)(3), and it was founded in 2017. So we've been around for a few years.
Hmm.
In the nonprofit, we have a dual purpose, and that's one is to raise awareness about dwarfism, because
Hmm.
that's not obviously cancer, and different things take the top of the throne than rare genetic conditions. So we
Hmm.
want to raise the awareness. With bullying, we're not raising awareness, we are being proactive. We have a resolution. I think we've all heard it and seen it enough to say that raising awareness, we know bullying exists, but what are we doing about it? So the
Hmm.
mission is obviously to eradicate the bullying in general. Of course, we cannot wipe out every bullying situation, and sometimes they're good to grow us. I mean, I truly believe in the bantering versus the bullying. I mean, it's different things, but the
Hmm.
mission seriously is to educate everyone, all involved parties, the kids, the parents, policymakers, teachers, educators, care providers, anyone who is in contact with the kid.
Hmm.
Education, education. If you know what you are within the scenario, then you have an identity in it. And now you can say, okay, I'm not going to be a target anymore. Okay, I'm not going to stand around and watch. Okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not even going to bully anymore. But if you don't even know what you are in it, how are you even fixing that? So the big thing that I'm big on, once again, is just for it to be known how deep this is, the different scenarios, the different characters, the different types of bullying. Kids don't even know what social bullying is, but yet they want to die behind it. So it's powerful. And then lastly, just to help our families. I mean, no one is prepared to bury a 7-year-old or 8-year-old and a 9-year-old. You just are
No.
not even on that wavelength. So what we have done is obviously given funding to help funerals. I do not like saying this part, but it is the truth of what we do behind the scenes. We help with funeral expenses. I would rather say we're eradicating it and putting the funds towards that. And then some families, they want to relocate, and rightfully so. Why would you want to live and they don't have funds to
Mm-hmm.
relocate? Their siblings, there's a lot of different scenarios. So the organization is very big on supporting those families who have um, experienced that. Or if if the child has not taken their life, we also help people that, just like I said, contact me and say, what can I do? Can you call a school? Can you step in? And we have a team. I'm saying we
Right.
step in and we help them in any way we can.
So I'm curious, in your work with children, is there like a success story or that stands out where perhaps the child was the one doing the bullying behavior, and as a result of working with your curriculum and really learning about what bullying is, really feel like, wow, I didn't know, and I'm gonna stop doing that.
I mean, there's a lot of stories because once again, the kids really don't know who they are. And even the bully, he's a
Mm-hmm.
kid, which I constantly will say to remind people, because people,
Mm-hmm.
I've heard adults say, I can't stand bullies. I'm like, oh, he's a 9-year-old, like, or she's a 9-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
You can stand her. We need to stand her so that we can
Right.
help her, right?
Right.
But I have a big story. Recently, I was called into a school and
Mm-hmm.
I was given a classroom to teach my SEL curriculum of 40 students,
Okay.
and about, I'd say 85% of those students were these students in the school that were in the office
Oh,
every day last
wow.
year.
Mm.
I worked with them for about 30 days,
Wow.
and both of the principals, assistant principal and principal, they had not had one visit from these students. And there were 13 that were really there every single day, that where the principal said, like, I have to work. And we keep putting
Right.
them in ISS.
Right.
And we noticed the changes within 2 weeks, but within 3 weeks, these students did not even go to the front office, because it teaches coping skills. That's what we really
Mm-hmm.
need. We need empathy for
Mm-hmm.
others, and I call it empathy in action. And we
Mm-hmm.
need coping skills so that we can be resilient, or be introduced to how resilient we truly can be when we feel like we cannot handle something, or it's above our reach to
Mm-hmm.
redirect it ourselves. So I
Mm-hmm.
have that. And then I have a target story of a
Okay.
young man who was filmed in the bathroom, and he did not want to live any longer,
Mm.
because we know that that's super humiliating.
Sure.
And I worked with him, and we did a lot of telehealth sessions and different things. And I will say today, he's alive, number one, but he's excited about life. He's very informed about himself. He's happy. He found his lane. He's an artist. We introduced him to his lane, that makes him feel like he is important, or
Mm-hmm.
validates him. And he's been doing drawings and art, and he's been fine. It's been over a year now, and we haven't had
Oh,
any issue.
that's wonderful. Well,
Yes, so
that's
that's
really
the stuff
wonderful.
that lights me up.
Mm-hmm. Now, tell us about your upcoming projects or any initiatives you want to share with us today, and definitely please include the book, the title, and
Yes.
how we can get it too.
Okay. So yes, the book is, I think yeah. Are You Raising a Bully?
Okay.
And that's the
Mm-hmm.
book. and it's on every buying platform. So it's
Okay.
Amazon, it's on, it's in Barnes and Noble, it's all over.
Okay.
Kindle, ebook, everything. This book, once again, it is definitely a parent's tool, but it's an anyone tool who is involved with children.
Mm-hmm.
Even kids can read this book. It's very simple. Teenagers, middle schoolers to understand. I made it to where a parent can sit there and have a session with their child, a powwow, talk about things, open it up and say, hey, is this, just a way to open up the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
We're on a nationwide, well, I'm going to say worldwide, because we're doing work in the country of Georgia. I was contacted by them. So I'm
Oh, wow.
excited. Yes. I had a meeting with the embassy. It's just huge. It's because it's everywhere. They were losing
Mm-hmm.
students, and they've never had that issue ever before.
Right, right.
18, I think, no, 19 children in a month.
Oh,
So they reached out to me. So the bottom line is we have this worldwide tour, and we're working in every state and even countries now to help with their policies and procedures, to help with their data. I collect data, I go through all of the data, and then I give a report back of where you can see. That's very important. Schools could do it themselves. Just know where your problem area is. As I say this very quickly, if you're addressing physical bullying, but your school is really going through verbal bullying, you see that time is not being spent on the right area. So
sure.
doing the data of your school and going through it with a fine comb and really seeing who's the population, how many times, what type of bullying is it, what that's going to help you. It gives your own guide to where you need to start working harder. Of course, address all areas. And then we have the book, we have the curriculum, we have trainings nationwide. I'm on my way to New Jersey to the school district that I'm working with now. They're very, very open, and they're so excited, and we've been working together now for a few months, and now it's time to come in, and we're going to do workshops with the kiddos. We're going to do impact statements and all types of things all through the school. It's going to be a DJ, a celebrity DJ, just a lot of fun for them. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
spending a week there, and that
Okay.
is just, if anyone does not know, November 13th through the 19th is anti-bullying week. This is anti-bullying month of October. So
Mm-hmm.
that week, we're just
Yes.
going to do acts of kindness. We're going to train the kids on how to be kind, or just reintroduce them to empathy in
Mm-hmm.
action. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
big week that we have coming up. And then lastly, not lastly, there's so many things, but the most, current things, we have a documentary. It's called Bullied Me to Death. And we're working on
Wow.
that. And that's going to showcase all of the children, who are no longer with us, but even the children who are contemplating the ideology of that, so
Sure.
that we can redirect it and stop it in its tracks.
Yeah, that definitely needs to be streamed on every platform. We look at all this other stuff. I see on social media people talking about all this other junk they're watching,
Yes.
but that would be something really, really worthwhile. So, lastly, if there's like one piece of wisdom you'd want every child and parent to take away from our conversation, what would that be?
I said it earlier, but I want to say it again. There's two things for parents. Please don't underestimate what bullying could do to your child. I mean, a
Mm,
home of a teacher, a home of a lawyer, a doctor, a therapist. It can happen to any one of us. So please
mhm,
don't underestimate that. Get in tune with your child, though. Get in tune with them, and if you have to, almost be like them to open them up, because they are
mhm,
so close. I'm seeing this as a pattern nationwide, all
mm,
ages. It's just a closed bug going around in our nation. Seriously, they're not opening up, and they're telling us everything's okay, when it's really not. To
mhm,
students, be a commander of your communication, please.
mhm,
Don't,
mhm,
it's not a snitch. It's a commander of your communication. You're
mhm,
commanding your voice to be heard. And
mhm.
once your voice is heard and that energy is behind it, you will get it back. There's help out there. I want
Right.
everyone to know that there is help out there. And for everyone, if you have not downloaded the app, the Bullying Buddy, please do so. Go to Apple, Android, It's on the tablet. It's everywhere. Everything we have is everywhere. So
Mm-hmm.
please know that there is a resolution. And then obviously, Are You Raising a Bully is on every book buying platform. It's an amazing tool that can help you as a parent, teacher, anyone, honestly, that reads the book.
Okay. And tell us again how we can just follow your work, whether it's social media, your website, and all of that.
Okay, so the bullying buddy is obviously it's thebullyingbuddy.com, and that's where you can read all about the app. You can download the app there. Are You Raising a Bully.com is where you can buy the book directly, or you can go on Amazon. Once
Mm-hmm.
again, in Barnes and Noble. And Tiny Be Mighty, our nonprofit 501c3, it's under tinybemighty.org because it is an organization. If you want to make donations, and it's not just monetary, we need volunteers. We do annual fashion shows. We do workshops where we want people to come in and speak, police officers. A lot of people donate their time. So it's not always $1 with us, it's the mission with us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
And
thank
then,
you.
oh, I'm sorry, I'm on Instagram.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram, Facebook under my name, Tara Lynn Townes. We have the Bullying Buddy and we have Tiny Be Mighty on
Okay.
Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We're on all social media platforms. We are reachable.
Well, thank you again for joining. And everybody,
You.
please, I hope you caught all of that, all of the different places that you can tap into the work she's doing. But if you forgot anything, I think just going to thebullyingbuddy.com, and that will just direct you to all of those places. This is such an important matter, even if your child has never exhibited any bullying behavior. They are a part of the community and they have a role to play to help eradicate bullying. So it's just really important for them to have empathy, even if they're not they're not the direct target. There's still a role that they can play. So grab the book, because Are You Raising a Bully? Because I think you'll learn all of the different players in the scene of bullying, and you'll find a way that your child can do something positive to turn things around. So thank you again, Tara. It was
Thank you,
just a pleasure
Karen.
having you on. Thank you, listeners. Please like, share, and subscribe to this episode. Make sure you share it with your friends, share it with your school. I just think this topic is so important. And as I said, I'll be sharing a part 2, if you will, where we're going to look at workplace bullying and bullying by adults. And so that's the result. That can really be the result when we don't take care of it when they're young, and show them better ways to cope, as she said, because usually at the heart of it is at the heart of bullying is hurt or fear, or just ignorance, like not knowing, and then so having a fear of whatever's unknown. And so if you can really help your children be more comfortable in those kinds of settings, they can develop coping skills early and take those into adulthood instead of the bullying habits. So continue to follow the Parenting 411 on Facebook, Instagram, and the YouTube channel. And by all means, if you kind of came in midway on this episode and you want to catch it again, you can, of course, go to your favorite podcast platform, but you can also see the video on the YouTube channel. So I appreciate you following. Can't wait to talk to you again next time. And remember, it's never too late to be the parent that you want to be. Talk to you soon.